Okay. So we have Christine and we have Sarah and obviously Pratyush and me. So let's just wait.
That's very early. That's right. I
Yeah.
logged in really early.
And Christine, where are you based out of?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Pratyush. How are you?
All good. I'm fine. Good to see you.
Thanks a lot for organizing all these sessions. It's really helpful. And
Great.
it's getting everybody going as well.
Good, good. I'm glad it's helping. In fact, today we got an interview arranged for someone as well. So it's progressing. We are able to, do
Excellent.
something positively.
That's really nice.
Let's see. We are very positive and hopeful that we can help more people.
Absolutely.
Hi, Christine. Are you able to hear
Hello.
us?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Great. Where are you based in, Christine?
Based in London.
Okay.
Great.
Are you part of the group? Because we haven't heard.
Yes, I am in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah?
Yes, I am. I was added, I think, last week, I believe. I think so.
Okay. Okay, okay.
Yes, yes,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Okay.
Good. So we have someone else who's joining. Yeah. Okay. So I don't see the name of the recent participant. If you can just say a quick hello so we know who's joining us and from where. Sorry, as we can't see your name, I'm just going to address you as PB. If you can kindly introduce yourself and where you're joining us from, so that we know who's joining us today and we can have a better and more informed discussion. I don't know if you're speaking on mute. No idea. That's fine. Let's wait if more people. We are still 2 minutes early.
His name is Dhruv. He joined PB. That's, It's 4-2. So we will give one more minute, Bidisha, and then we can start.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Hi, Babho.
Yeah, I think couple of more people have joined. Okay, now I can probably I couldn't see the list earlier. Now I
Yeah.
can see.
Let's
So
see. 10 people
yeah,
are there already. So we can start now. Yeah,
yes, yes, the rest can join, as we go along. That's fine. Great.
yeah,
So yeah, so Pratish, you want to just give a
yeah.
outlay and then I can
Yeah.
start.
So good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Saturday evening. Uh, I know it's a holiday, like, a lot of people are stuck with the cricket match and all. But it's an important topic. We have been, talking about this for quite some time. And thanks for Bidisha for taking time out, preparing all the required, material and being ready to share her knowledge with all of us. So I'll let Bidisha talk about the topic which we have. This is one of the most important document which you require to apply anywhere. This is your representation, this is your advertisement, whatever name you want to give it. But without a resume, you cannot go further. Okay, and if your resume is not right, you don't even get to, like you don't get even a call, right? So you can understand how much important it is. And Bidisha will touch upon some other critical points that what you can do to make it more likable by the recruiters and how you can win the game. So over to you, Vidisha.
Yeah, thanks so much, Pratish. So thank you everyone whoever's joined us today. Thank you for taking time. And as a professional resume coach, we get so many questions, and there are so many doubts and concerns about the ATS. People with a lot of experience also feel the same problem, and they are not able to understand why is it that I'm not shortlisted, why am I not able to get the interview call as well? Because obviously in the interview you can speak for yourself, you have a better chance of explaining the things that you've been working for or the role that you're applying for. But the fact is that your resume remains the most important and critical document for any job search. And obviously we are speaking more with the scenario of UK, but this is a global thing. So even ATS is very widespread now. All the big organizations use it, and obviously we will talk more about why ATS, and this term is new to some are aware. We cannot understand or fathom why this term has become such an important role when it comes to a resume, because obviously some of us who have a lot of experience, this is a fairly newer term and newer concept. So before I start, and I want to make it as interactive, if anyone has any question, just pop it in the chat box, or please speak out. Feel free to do that. So what is ATS? Anyone can just tell me what is the full form of ATS before we even navigate forward? Anyone would like to just
Yeah,
take a
application tracking system.
yeah, thank you. So Sapna, I think you said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is applicant tracking system. So it is a software, and there is no one ATS software. So that's another misnomer or misconception a lot of us have, that ATS means just one thing and it is a set box. It is a software. There are different companies offering it, and all the companies that are using the ATS have their software installed and they use it as per their requirement. But yes, in broad terms, it is to make them or the make the recruiter's job easier. So now let's move on to what is today's agenda. And yes, we have a limited time, so I would like to just start on. So Pratisha, you can just look at what is the agenda for today on the next slide. Okay, so I hope everyone is able to see that. So that is the agenda. I will go by one, and I will try to cover all of this. And in case anyone has any further questions, we can always touch upon it. Job portal. Okay, I saw that question. So we will touch upon it. There are two totally different things. Yes, some might use it as part of their job portal. So the question is whether job portal and ATS is the same. It's a it's like a Venn diagram when you have two things meeting. It might have an overlap where a company uses a job portal, which is its own company's portal, and it has ATS installed already. But if you see a job portal which is generic, it might not have ATS. So it is you will not know. So you have to be always ATS compliant because any company which is signed up for ATS will be using it. So I hope that's clear. Okay. Okay, so let's go one by one. Uh, why a professional CV matters. What is ATS? We touched upon it briefly. We will talk in more details. Why is it so challenging for people applying for jobs? How do we ensure that we are ATS compliant? What are the CV sections that one must always have and try to ensure? What is the pitfalls that we need to watch out for? Why do we need professional? Why do I exist, or why do other CV coaches exist, and why is it necessary to ensure that we have a professional resume, whether we do it or we get help? And then what are the must-haves that one needs for a holistic UK job search? It's not only the resume, there are a couple of other factors, and I'll touch upon that briefly. Yeah, so let's move on. So this is why your resume matters, okay? Because that is your first impression. No one knows who you are in person, right? The recruiter is someone who is doing this as a job. They have to look through and sieve through multiple and truckloads of CVs, and everyone's applying because obviously we are all aiming for the best role out there in the market. So that is the first impression that you leave with a recruiter. It can obviously, once you have an ATS compliant resume, it's gone through the first ATS requirement, then it's the recruiter. So then now you need to make sure that they look at your CV and they feel that, yes, this is a professional person. This is a person who has taken care to send me a resume which is worthy of me looking at it or of the application. So it means that you're respecting your own candidature, which means you have taken the time to do a CV right? And that gives you a significant edge because it's a person. Once you have crossed the ATS, then it's a person looking at CVs. So wouldn't, and it's very, even if you don't understand the ATS terminology, that's fine because it's a little more complex and not that simple. But if you put yourself in the recruiter's shoe, someone who's looking at a lot of resumes, then wouldn't you want to look at something which is nicely given? All the information is there. I like this person, but I can't find the contact information. How do I reach him? So, this happens, and it does happen. When I have also recruited for my team in my earlier roles, I have faced this that, we are struggling because the person has forgotten to put a contact detail. So we want to make it as easy and convenient for a recruiter to call us, look at our resume and say, yes, this person has taken time and this person is thorough in everything that they do. So these are the kind of impressions we want to leave with a recruiter. I hope all of you all agree with me. That's something that we all have to take care of. We are all aspiring for the best role, right? So this is things that are part of professional behavior. This is your professional document, right? So when it is professional, then every bit matters. So there is nothing that you can leave aside. Yeah, and we'll touch upon what are the points that we can take care of. So that is also as a next step. And on the right side, I've just given an example of how your resume has to be very neatly structured, very clear. The obviously we've masked because this is an actual resume that I've done. So the name is there, the contact detail is there, your executive summary is there, your highlights are there, then your work experience. So everything is flowing, and this is just one page. Obviously, there's a follow-up as well where you have more skills, you have certification, so your education. So we have to put everything, and that has to be very neatly given. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can move on. So now we are just getting into a little more on ATS. So ATS is used, if you look at the diagram, it's an easy depiction of what ATS is. It is used to make it easier, as the term suggested, and Sapna also rightly said, it's the application tracking software. So it just helps us manage our candidates better, handle the recruitment. So it checks against keywords, it checks against all the data points are available, whether the skill set is matching, whether everything is there. So it's very easy for them to handle number of candidates. When the candidate list is long, it is very difficult to manually do it, right? You would all agree. And obviously, we know that the demand versus supply, there is a lot of demand for jobs. And plus, on the other hand, there are good candidates. There are so many of us trying to get that coveted job, right? So this is how they score. This is how they help assess candidates at the first level, and they have different grading. So, we cannot say, and this is another question that I get a lot of time, that, what is the perfect score? My point is, don't worry so much of the score. Make sure that everything that the ATS demands to see is there, because individually the scores can differ from company to company. A company might put 50, a company might put 61, someone might put 70 on their score, and the scoring will vary. Okay, so that is why you need to just make sure that we are ATS compliant. There are guidelines given around it. So like when I do a check on ATS, I have a 30-point checkpoint. Okay, so sometimes there will be some people who might not be able to meet all, in the sense they might not have this particular bit missing. That's fine. But on the whole, your resume should tick most of the boxes. There might be few, and I'll show that as well. There are few which are optional. They are not as critical. You will not get a negative scoring on that. But yes, I will show what is mandatory and what is optional as well. Okay, and most of the large organizations, as I said, they will employ ATS. So we have to be ATS compliant. Okay, so again, the ATS challenge, what is it about it that makes it so tough, or why has it become the word that people dread, that ATS compliant? Because we don't understand what it works on. So it works on everything. It works on keywords, it works on spelling, it works on formatting. Because the minute you have used some word which is and I it's not naming anyone, but people use some reference terms which are not usual, right? If I write synopsis to describe my summary, synopsis is not a word you use with your personal development. Synopsis is something we use with a theory, a thesis, a dissertation, right? Those are the kind of an essay where you write synopsis. The minute you write synopsis, ATS is going to not read it. So they will say that, okay, this part is missing. Or skills, sometimes I see very varied terms being used for skills. So ATS cannot read it. So what it will say is skills missing and minus those score over there. So just be very mindful. Location missing, it'll say location missing. So that's another score that you've lost. So the way it adds up, we don't have to worry so much. We just need to ensure that we have everything there. And that will take care of our ATS compliance. Formatting, different fonts, different bullets. Different bullets is very common. And then using multiple colors in particular resume. That's another one that I get. So if you've used multiple colors, sometimes you've used white font, and the ATS software might not be able to read that white font. So whatever you put in that section is zero, because it is not able to read it. And you will not, no one will come and tell us that, your skills was not there. You will only get a rejection. And then you feel that why? Because obviously you have done your bit, you have put all your information. So every minimum or minor point is also important. So this is key to details, and I've listed out some of them. No contact information, incorrect use of headings, missing sections, right? So we have to have, there is a bare minimum that we have to cater to. And then, like I said, there are some optional, which if we have space, if we have less of experience that we need to write, we can add them up.
And blocks, people use sometimes blocks, even like, you have
Yes,
boxes. Those boxes should not be
yes,
used at
yes.
all. Or lines,
Tables.
yeah, tables, those should not be
Yeah.
used at all.
Yeah, a lot of people use tables for education, for experience, for certifications. Boxes and tables cannot be read by the software. So those are absolutely no. Another, and obviously we'll come to that, another no for ATS, and especially for UK, is no profile pictures. I know there's a varied conversation on those lines, but I think now the way forward is no pictures at all. So now we are also following the same. Yeah, because they just don't want, and there's a reason for it. It's not because they don't want to see you. It is because they don't want to create any bias, before we meet the candidate. So which makes sense. If you understand the logic, it makes sense. So now that's why on the ATS, most people will reject. So now going forward, don't use any images for that. Yeah. Okay, now how do we ensure? So now we've heard about ATS. Now we know what is the watch out for. Now, how do we ensure? So like I said, and I'm just reiterating again, stick to standard fonts. Don't format elaborate. It has to be simple and clean. You can do, there has to be a design element, because obviously, again, I said that it is after the ATS, you also have a person looking at it. So it should look professional. It should look nice. It should look elegant, but don't do too many designing boxes, tables, not at all. Multiple kinds of bullets, not okay. Bullets should be aligned. So these are the, things which will help both, like I've mentioned in the 50 also, it's both for ATS and for your human reader, who's ultimately, because you want your resume to go through. We want the recruiter to come and, call us for that next interview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only exception I would like to add, Bidisha, there
Yes.
is like somebody who is applying for a designer's role, which
Yes.
requires designs to be shown, a portfolio
Yes.
to
Yes.
be shown in
True.
that matter. So if you're applying and if you're a designer, then you can. Like we had somebody who was a film producer, so he
Yeah.
wanted to showcase, or somebody who's a creative designer, then you can. But in normal circumstances, you should not be using any design element in your CV. It should be much more generic.
That's correct. Okay. And okay, so these are the CV sections that we must ensure we have. So we have our contact information, which means your name, your phone number, your email. LinkedIn profile is a must. Many a times we find that either LinkedIn profile is not there, or I have not added that point, but I'll just touch upon it. Your LinkedIn is vaguely or vastly different from your resume. Please keep it in sync, because LinkedIn is a very, very important tool. It is the second most important tool after your resume. Every person, fresher, yes, I will still give them the benefit of doubt, or the recruiter will give them. Anyone with 0 or 1+ years of experience must have a LinkedIn profile with a professional photograph, a cover image. This is also very critical. And because, like I've said to people I've spoken with one-on-one, it is not only you looking for your perfect job, there are recruiters also searching for you. So if your LinkedIn profile is not optimized, it is not talking to your resume, then that is also something which will be, negatively held against you. So we don't want to do that, right? We have to put our professional image on every front we can, right? We are showing this as a, symmetrical entity, right? We are one person. So there are, sometimes it's very, very different. So your LinkedIn profile has to be there and updated. Obviously, your sections about yourself, your key highlights, your technical skill, your soft skill, your education, your experience, this all has to be there. These are mandatory. Apart from that, if you have, because a lot of time people with 15+ years of experience are running out of space because they have changed too many jobs, or there's so much to write. So, and if you don't have anything that you would, really like to highlight, then that's fine. But otherwise, if you have any other achievements, some awards that you want to speak about, references, it is optional unless specified. So I would like to specify, because some of the roles will ask you for reference. So do add that. You can add that as part of your cover letter as well, in case you don't want to put it in your resume and you don't, you're struggling, like, where do I put my reference now? There's no place. Then put it as part of your cover letter, and that should work. Yeah, I think there's some question. Sorry, what's your name? I can't see the name. I just see iPhone. So LinkedIn profile should be same way. So it, when you say same way, LinkedIn has a, format itself. So it is not the same format that you can apply. But yes, there are sections which we can use very well, and which is why we use the term LinkedIn profile optimization. There is a space. Okay, thank you, Poonam. So there's a space below your name where we use to write keywords for our job, which you will not have in your resume, right? Then in your LinkedIn profile, apart from everything else that you put in, there's a section for adding skills. So that's also a must do, which again is different from your resume. So there are differences, and it will not be the same, but yes, where you're talking about experience, it is best to, copy paste. Once you have your resume, do that. I heard about
Yeah.
difference between. Okay. I would, yeah, Anita, that's another good question. Thank you for that. And this is another question that I get a lot, whether PDF or Word. Both are acceptable. My suggestion is always to do PDF. Sorry, you were saying something? Okay. So my suggestion is always to go with PDF for the simple reason that PDF does not, once you put in your PDF document, the format won't change. So it is very, rare that a PDF document will get corrupted at the other end, and it will go through the system smoothly. So usually, unless it is specified that we want it only in Word, please try to use PDF. It is a more foolproof method or format that I would suggest that you use. Yeah,
Yeah.
no
I,
problem.
I just want to add one more suggestion here. Like, people can use LinkedIn for adding more references. It's a
Yes,
wonderful tool if you have worked in the past with clients, who know good about, like, who can write good things about you. You had some good relationship with your colleague
recommendation.
and all. So it's a very good tool, reach out to people and then, get those references added. It adds a lot of value to people. Okay, like, just for example, if I have worked with my clients in USA, UK, Japan, or wherever, right? And many of the experienced people have worked. And if they don't have even a single line to write about you, then why should anybody trust what you are saying to them? But if I have five good references there, then they are bound to look at that. Okay, so that creates a very positive image about any particular, any person. So I would encourage you all to get that added. Okay, don't at all think that LinkedIn is not a good tool. It's a very, very powerful tool these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, I agree. Okay. Okay, so these are again, common CV mistakes we all tend to make, and lot that I come across. So spelling and grammar errors. So this gives the, poor impression that we are not attentive to detail. And here I have to highlight the best of best resumes that I get, or people who have really good experience. They can fail on just this bit. Everything is there except for the spelling and grammar. We cannot afford to do it. Yeah, and especially when you're applying for senior roles, that is the least they would expect. And very common for us, and it's not because I want to, say against, but this is the truth, because in India we use so many, variations of American and British English. We tend to use American English very, very easily. And here, when you're applying specifically for UK, it has to be British English. No Z. It has to be S, right? Optimize, specialize, expertise. Everything I come across is usually with a Z, and that is a absolutely big no. So we cannot afford it. Grammatical mistakes, lot of grammar mistakes, syntax errors, sentence formation. They are like, like I've written that it's verbose and long. So you tend to write because someone has told us already that we need to put it in 2 pages. So we have put everything in one line. It does not make sense. The person who's reading, that's another very important point, that the first level of human also who's looking at it will not be my hiring manager in most cases. It will be a recruiter from the HR team who has been given the task to recruit someone for someone else, right? Who's going to be a technical manager or who understands the domain. So the harder you make it for them to understand, the less chance you will of going to the next level. So please remember that who is going to read my CV? Will they understand what I'm trying to say? That's why it's very important. We don't need to make it elaborate. We don't have to use fancy English. It's just clear diction, clear words to convey what we've done. Yeah. pages. I had a CV which has come to me. I don't know, the person is here. That it was a 14-page CV. 14-page CV, 3-page cover letter. Will not do. 1-page cover letter, 2-page resume. Like if someone has really too much to say, we will have to cut out. And that's the other point that I've written there, that if you have a lot of experience, you can leave out or choose to minimize the older content, because the person who is going to recruit you, it is basis your most recent or relevant experience. So highlight that. Yeah, people who have flitted between different roles. Someone, I was doing for some lady who's in Japan. She has done between HR and faculty, which is school academics, and now she wants to again go back to HR. So I have to downplay her current role. So you have to be mindful of what you want to do, what is your intent, what are you aspiring for. It is very easy, a lot of people say I will do any role, but don't do that. Concentrate on a couple. Make sure your resume meets all the requirements. It's very difficult to, tailor it for every job you apply, because you will, it will become a counterproductive exercise. So make it in a way that talks, and you cannot lie on your CV. No one should do that. I have uh, own experience when I have been in the recruiter's chair, that when people send you, it is very easy. So just give the facts. Say that this is what I want to do. This is why I think I'm suitable. Use your cover letter to tweak as much as you want. Don't change too much on your resume. That is a fact sheet in a way, right? I hope we all agree. That is a fact sheet. What you've already done, we present it in a better way. So that is how you should look at your resume, right? Tailor-made does not mean every resume or every time I apply, I need to change. That is not a task you would want to do. So I also, that's my personal suggestion, that don't do that. That will become counterproductive. Yeah. Can we? Yeah. Okay. So a lot of times, why do we need professional help? Yeah. Yes, you can. If you have two, don't again, like it cannot be 10 columns that you've done and no drawings on it. Simple two columns where it's readable, it's clear, that is okay. But it has to meet all these standards. It cannot be more than that, no tables and nothing else to try to accommodate data. Okay, so why, why you need professional help, or why people, because there's another point, because everything is there. My own blogs are there with a lot of information, because we underestimate the, importance of ATS compliant. A lot of companies have this rule that if you, are rejected, they will not look at your resume for the next 6 months at minimum. So please do not take the chance. Do it yourself. That's fine. You don't need. But why you are coming or why you are seeking professional help is because you cannot afford to do that. So either you make it ATS compliant before you apply, or you seek professional help, be it me, be it anyone else that you're comfortable with. But that is the reason, because you cannot afford to lose out on that job, right? It is a tough market, there is no doubt, but people do get jobs, right? Uh, Thanks, Doctor. Okay, and just one point. I think I had another on that. Okay, yeah. So my details will be there. Everyone is aware of it. Anyone needs any help, reach out to Pratyush or reach out to me directly, and definitely I'll be there to guide you. Yeah. Now we can move to the next. Yeah, so I have touched upon this briefly. I just want to reiterate, as a wrapping point also for this session, you have to have an ATS compliant, well-crafted CV, all section, no spelling, no grammar mistakes, everything there clearly, and put on a plate, as you say, to the recruiter, so that they can, obviously look at you and call you for the next round. LinkedIn profile also I have touched upon, very, very critical. It is the second most critical after your resume. Do not underestimate it. It's a very powerful tool. I myself have been in my last two full-time corporate roles, I was hired through LinkedIn without having applied for it. Yeah. So I know and I totally accept that LinkedIn is a powerful tool. Use it wisely. Like Pratyush said, get your recommendations, connect with people, follow people, follow companies that you want to work with, follow the HR guys. That is your first source of information for jobs. We are obviously doing what we can to help, but you have to do your effort also, and don't use LinkedIn very, very well. It's a very powerful tool. And obviously, then the next is your cover letter. It has to be a one-page or Word document. Again, very assertive, not aggressive, and to the point. And here is where you write why you want to apply for the company you're applying to. Why is this job the one that you're seeking out for? So this is where you play upon that piece where you are tailoring it for a job. This is my suggestion. Be well prepared. Mock interviews, we've heard people talking about interviews. Sometimes it is because we are not prepared, we are not answering correct. There is a difference in the way people question, the way people want information. So please be mindful, be very, very well prepared. That's the next level, right? And then obviously, if you need help with career counseling, take that professional help. This is also an important part. It's an investment into your career. It is not something that you are just buying off the shelf. It is something that you are looking to invest in. So invest in yourself, invest in time, uh, give importance to all these factors. That is what I would like to close this with. I think we've covered everything in a nutshell. I think we are maybe
We
five
have 3
minutes.
minutes now. So any
Okay,
questions, anything anybody wants to ask?
Uh, Hi Vidisha, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, actually, mostly, when, the well-crafted CV, what I have been knowing, it's very important in many a times, like for the different, as you have said, for different jobs, we need to have some of the job description. This is what everyone, we need to have those skills mentioned in our CV.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your final suggestion, like every time, because it is said like every time you have to craft again and again. So what would be your take home message for that? What?
Yeah, yeah. So see, when you're applying for some jobs, usually it is because you have some experience in it, right? I
Mhm.
would never suggest put a skill because it's the job that you're applying for requires it. Because what will happen is, and it happens, that although we've put it there and it's something that we cannot substantiate, we cannot speak about that. Why have I put that skill? It will not hold good, right?
Okay.
And usually what you're referring to and what people try to tweak is the technical skill, because soft skills are generic. So that remains constant, right? But
Mm.
if you want to tweak a technical skill, I would personally, this is my personal opinion, that it is not a good idea to change or tweak as per. If you've had that experience, it should already there be in your resume, right? And
Correct.
it can be that you're applying for 2 different roles, but it cannot be you're applying for 10 different roles, which means you're not sure what you want to do. And then your resume, it's very easy for a recruiter to catch. Let me put it that way. So even if we
Mm.
put it and then we are not called, it will be very, very easy, for someone to pick that up. Uh, I hope that's clear.
We have just
Nihari,
1 minute. It can close. So,
yeah.
Bidisha, just quickly, you can touch upon this.
Yeah. So if you have something which you can substantiate, so a quantitative, point will always be good. So if you have that, definitely put